Before the world had rivers, before the sun knew its reflection, there was a golden glow moving through the darkness, a spirit wrapped in sweetness, laughter, and irresistible charm. Her name was Ochún, the Orisha of love, beauty, fresh waters, sensuality, fertility, diplomacy, and above all, the keeper of mystical sweetness. But this sweetness was never just about charm or seduction. It was a cosmic power, a force capable of healing, opening roads, and softening what the world made hard. And the secret to her sweetness? Honey, the liquid gold of the Orisha. In the geometry of the cosmos, sweetness is not a weakness. It is a weapon. It is a strategy. It is a force of gravity. We know her as the queen of the river, the Ialode, the mother of sweetness. But to reduce Ochún merely to love is to misunderstand the physics of the universe. Today, we taste the mystery. We explore why the Great Mother does not just like honey, but why, in the esoteric secrets of the Lukumi, honey is the very blood that flows through her veins. Because Ochún arrives quietly, with nothing but a gourd of honey, she touches the lips of the fierce ones. She anoints their hearts. She softens their anger. She loosens their pride. She heals their pain. The world grew calm, not by force, but by sweetness. This is why honey belongs to Ochún, because honey is not a symbol. It is a teaching. Where force fails, sweetness succeeds. Consider the bee. In the ancient patakís, the bee is a messenger of the divine. To create oni, honey, the bee must visit thousands of flowers, taking the dust of the earth and transmuting it through its own body into liquid gold. This is the first esoteric lesson of Ochún. She is the great alchemist. Just as the bee transforms common pollen into eternal sustenance, Ochún takes the bitterness of our lives, the heartbreak, the poverty, the tears, and through her ashe, she alchemizes it into sweetness. Honey is the only food that never spoils. Buried in tombs for thousands of years, it remains edible. Therefore, Ochún is not just the goddess of beauty, she is the keeper of preservation. She is the force that ensures our traditions, our bloodlines, and our spirits do not rot. Honey is more than a food or an offering. In the cosmology of the Afro-Cuban tradition, each Orisha has a vibration. Honey matches Ochún's vibration perfectly. 1. Honey is attraction. Bees transform the world's flowers into gold. Just like Ochún transforms pain into beauty, sorrow into healing, chaos into harmony. 2. Honey is preservation. It never rots. Just like love, confidence, and spiritual grace don't fade when rooted in higher consciousness. 3. Honey is medicine. It heals wounds, soothes throats, energizes the body. Oshun heals emotional wounds the same way, sweetly, slowly, deeply. 4. Honey is abundance. Bees show up when the environment is thriving. Ochún shows up where joy, beauty, and prosperity want to grow. Honey is her signature because she teaches, you attract what matches your sweetness. You keep what matches your vibration. There is a patakí that whispers of a time when the world was dying. The Orishas were at war, and the earth had turned sour. Olafin, the creator, had turned his back on humanity. It was not Shango's lightning that saved us. It was not Ogun's iron. It was the smallest, sweetest offering. Ochún, transforming into the vulture, Ibu Kole, flew higher than any other could survive. She was covered in dust, exhausted, yet she carried the sweetness of the earth to the heavens. When Olafin tasted the honey she brought, his anger subsided. The sweetness reminded the divine of the beauty of creation. Here lies the secret. Honey is the ultimate mediator. In the Yoruba metaphysics, Onyi cools the heated head. It sweetens the harsh judgment. Ochún teaches us that diplomacy is more powerful than war. She conquers not by breaking her enemies, but by intoxicating them with the promise of life. But take heed. Sweetness has a density. Have you ever tried to run through honey? It binds. It sticks. Esoterically, Ochún's honey represents the law of attraction and binding. It is viscous. When you offer honey to Ochún, you are asking for your desires to stick to you. You are asking for the flow of your life to slow down enough to be savored. However, the elders warn us, too much honey tastes bitter. This is the duality of Ochún. She is the river that nourishes, but she is also the flood that drowns. If you disrespect the honey, if you use her sweetness for manipulation without love or greed without gratitude, the honey turns to poison. The bee that makes the honey also carries the sting. In diaspora traditions, metaphors are spiritual tools. Honey becomes a mirror of your inner state. Oshun's honey is a mystical code. Sweetness, magnetism, where your energy is soft, receptive, graceful, you naturally attract blessings. Honey. Inner alchemy, bitter experiences can be transformed into wisdom, compassion, and strength. Honey. Feminine power. Feminine does not mean weak. It means magnetic, intuitive, radiant. Ochún teaches that power is not always loud. Sometimes it is a warm smile, a patient heart, a gentle presence that melts resistance. Honey. Path opener. Just as honey smooths harshness, spiritual sweetness opens roads where force finds walls. Honey pians a reminder. You do not need to chase what is aligned, you attract it. So, how does the modern devotee apply this? It is not just about pouring syrup on a shrine. It is about the onyi, honey, of the tongue. Ochún rules the tongue. Your words are spells. Are you speaking vinegar or are you speaking honey? To walk with Ochún is to ensure that your words preserve life, rather than destroy it. To have honey on your tongue is to command the room without raising your voice. When you taste honey before a prayer, you are activating the divine current of Ochún within your own DNA. You are telling the universe, I am ready to receive sweetness and I am ready to give it. For today's believer, Ochún's honey is more relevant than ever. In a world that rewards aggression, burnout, and hardness, Ochún asks you, where is your sweetness? Where is your softness with yourself? Where is your love for your own reflection? Where is your joy in being alive? Where is the honey in your spirit? When you honor Ochún, you awaken. Your beauty, your sensuality, your creativity, your emotional clarity, your self-worth, your magnetism, your ability to receive blessings without fear. To follow Ochún is to reclaim grace, not weakness, but radiant strength. So when devotees offer honey to Ochún, they are not just feeding an Orisha. They are feeding their own soul. They are saying, teach me sweetness where I have grown bitter. Teach me beauty where I see only flaws. Teach me flowing water where my life has grown dry. Because Ochún is not only in the rivers. Ochún is in your smile, in your confidence, in your joy, in the way you rise each day and say, I deserve sweetness. May her honey remind you of your power. May her river remind you to flow. And may her light remind you, even in a hard world, sweetness is still a divine force. And now, as the river settles and the glow of honey fades back into the quiet of the world, remember this: sweetness is not weakness. Sweetness is wisdom. Sweetness is power that refuses to wound. Ochún teaches that every heart carries its own river, and only you decide whether those waters run bitter or run golden. So tonight ask yourself, what part of your life is asking for sweetness? What wound is asking for honey? What path is waiting to flow again, if only you softened your spirit? As you rise from this story, may Ochún's lessons cling to you like gold on your fingertips. May her river remind you to move with grace. May her bees remind you that creation begins with devotion. And may her presence whisper, you deserve a destiny touched by sweetness. If this teaching sweetened something in your spirit, please like the video, share it with someone who you think might need sweetness in their lives, and don't forget subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss our episodes in your spiritual journey. Comment below and tell me, where in your life are you inviting Ochún's honey to flow? Because you are not just watching this channel. You are part of this unfolding tradition, this living river of ancestors and mystery. May your path be in constant flow like the river. May your spirit be calm and sweet like honey. And may Ochún walk with you wherever the waters lead. Thanks for watching. Until next time, Orisha Obatala Elida, signing out. Achito.